First topic of the elections that we're talking about is about a middle finger.
Yeah.
Why, Terence? You know how sometimes when people saying, there was one topic here and they will just immediately just accidentally show it, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like it. This did feel like he was showing the finger. So, I don't know whether there was a friend he saw in the distance where he had to show, hey bro, come here bro.
Yeah.
PSP hasn't really revealed. WP hasn't really revealed. Goh Meng Seng from People's Power Party said he'll only fight if there's LGBTQ candidate in Yishun. And they are not fielding, so he's going to let RDU, Raygon United, fight there. Lim Tian said everybody stay away from Tanjong Pagar. Singapore is hitting the big 6-0 this year, and Folklore, our audio service, is marking this milestone by interviewing 60 Singaporean seniors over 60 years old to capture their life stories for our Words of Wisdom project. Because these are folks who've seen it all, the ups, the downs, and even kopitiams turning into hipster cafes. Their stories are national heirlooms that need to be preserved for future generations. And we've already recorded and launched the first wave of 20 recordings. So you can listen to these raw, unfiltered conversations filled with life lessons, memories, and a whole lot of heart. But we still need your help to find more legends to feature. Got a parent, grandparent, or that uncle who's always dropping nuggets of wisdom at family gatherings? Great! Nominate them at folklore.com/words-of-wisdom to make sure their stories never get lost. You can also check out the first wave of recordings on our website. The link is in the show notes, so help us keep these stories alive. And now, on to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
How was your weekend, man?
It was cool. Literally, figuratively. Nice and wet. And it wasn't that inconvenienced by the rain because it was mainly at night.
Yeah, mainly at night.
Mainly
Came
at night.
in like episodes and all.
Yeah, the melancholic weather.
Melancholic.
Melancholic.
Sumatran squall.
But so your plans during the weekend also not disrupted?
I did. I cycled over the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, family cycle.
Where?
Just along Robertson Quay area. Very nice area. You know, you can have brunch and everything there. Because my kid's learning to pedal on the bicycle.
Also he cycled there also.
Yeah. We did it as a group activity now. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Sweet. But not crowded with cyclists and runners.
Crowded. But, Singapore roads are never great for cycling.
Were you on the road or path?
No, not road. I mean, like, even the paths, when they segment them for cyclists and just pedestrians, it's not great because everyone crosses in each other's path.
Yeah, correct.
But as long as you got a good bell, you're pretty much halfway
so
there.
So all three of you had bells?
Yeah, we all three had bells. I have the extra loud one from Decathlon that goes ding, like really loud, a very retro looking bell. It's a very shrill bell that like people get out of the way.
So about how many times you think you rang your bell?
Only 50? A handful. Most of the time I try to maneuver around until people like really don't get the idea. They're like walking in abreast in the line, right? Then you have to use the bell.
But you were leading your family pack,
No, I was behind most of the time actually.
But you were still ringing the bell.
I mean, sometimes you weave in and out. Then sometimes it's like formations, or sometimes they form up and stuff like that. So you just got to deal with it, You've been to Robertson Quay, right?
Yeah, of course.
You've seen,
on
weekends.
I haven't been there on the weekends. I can imagine it's nuts.
It's not only nuts. There's like running groups. Like people meet up. They meet up at like the acai bar and all that.
I tell you,
then they're all wearing like Lululemon and like all shirtless or what, and just it looks like a social club. And then they start jogging and chatting. That kind of
I tell you, running clubs like. Okay, so the reason why, I mean, not all running clubs, but there have been a few times when I'm going for a run and this running group beside me will be on your left.
Yeah.
And like they just kind of like push me to the side. I'm like...
because you're slow, is it?
I mean, if it's a leisurely jog, because some of these pacing groups are quite fast. But to me, I'm like, why are you telling me to move to the left? You are a group, so you should reduce your width. I'm already on one side.
Yeah.
Running groups.
But isn't to the left is telling you that they, don't veer right, but it's not asking you to move.
I know, don't veer right. Here's why I'm a madman who's running in zigzag or something like that. Just shout, come here on your left.
Yeah.
Come here on your right.
Isn't that just a gentle reminder?
No. It's like Terence, every time I poke you, I'm like, hey, Terence, your turn to speak on the podcast.
Okay.
Because you're going to do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, just a few things. I'm like, hey, chill, walao.
Your disdain comes from a place of jealousy that you're not part of this cool in-group?
Hey, no.
Because like good-looking people like running together, hooking up and all that, and you are not part of it.
What do you think happens in these running groups?
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I saw a lot of like good-looking people wearing, like Lululemon and all that kind of stuff.
Like same way with cyclists or with running groups, whenever you kind of take up more than your allocated space as a runner, and you think that just because en masse you have more right to the path, that's when I'm like, yo man, at the end of the day, you all are still individual runners.
Yeah.
So this whole group thing, right, don't give me that shit lah.
Yeah.
I think smaller groups okay, but that was like maybe 15 people.
Correct.
In like 5 lines of 3, kind of pushing me to the side. So yeah, that's me and running groups lah.
I get it with cyclists lah, but running, I'm like, okay lah. I mean, it's not that bad lah. I mean, I've experienced what you've experienced. Yeah.
I mean, like that one, just a few times I remember lah.
Must be. I mean, there's something latent in there lah about just not being part of the in group.
Hey, no. Please, when it comes to running, cycling, I like doing it myself. At most one other person.
Yeah.
This whole group thing, right? No, running is you and yourself and the elements.
Yeah.
I mean,
elements including good-looking people running past you lah. To the left.
Hey, please, like speed is just but one factor of a run, right? I mean, you yourself are starting to enjoy running more now, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine running with like a group of people?
No, because I always run at like very obscure hours, like late at night or in the morning when everyone already has gone to work, right? So I don't encounter those running groups that much.
Like on weekends, I think, and especially in the lead up to the marathon and all. Then you will encounter this running.
A lot of expats in the groups and things like that.
No.
Locals also.
Yeah, locals also.
Okay. So you don't discriminate.
They might just have a few running groups that like were a bit like how you say, taking up a bit too much space. Like in general, you're running a group, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. You're cycling in a group, just stick to the 5 rows of 2 lah. Right.
But I guess that's the new place for young Singaporeans or young singles to mingle and meet already, right? Do something wholesome together.
Yeah.
Not drinking, not vice, not alcohol, not drugs and all that.
Yeah.
You meet up,
which is great lah.
It's great.
Yeah. Then after you go makan and all.
Yeah, why are you being a Debbie Downer about it?
No, but still, you cannot inconvenience. You can not inconvenience the other runners, right? And kind of bulldoze them to the side lah. So if you are in a running group and you do that to other runners, just stop and think lah, okay?
Yeah.
But that was it lah.
Okay. We can't have any nice things in Singapore with you like policing everything.
You are Mr. I can't stand cyclists, right? Also with caveats, right?
Yeah.
So for me also with caveats.
Yeah, okay.
Caveats.
I thought running is like the one activity like you can't really find fault.
No, of course you can find fault.
Okay.
Of course you can find fault. You can find fault with anything, right?
Especially if it's you lah, right?
I mean, anything you can find fault lah.
Yeah,
running
true.
also can find fault. Find fault.
But the weekend was nice weather and everything. But a lot of activity going on.
Yeah,
people running and walking around. I think it started already. Election season is upon us.
Yeah, it feels like. I mean, the past couple of weeks there was some talk, but I don't know. Just this week, today, when doing research, it felt like okay. It has begun.
Yeah, it has begun.
So many things just happening around Singapore. One of which we are going to talk about.
Yeah.
But maybe it's also time to give a bit more info on what we are doing.
Yeah.
These elections.
Yeah, I think just thinking back at 2020.
Yeah.
We were maybe one or two podcasts that were out there, right?
Yeah.
In the midst of COVID, in the midst of lockdown, giving everybody like a daily like catch up with the news and stuff and all that, right? Pardon the pun. But it's a catch up of like everything that was going on. And I think that was the period a lot of people discovered us.
Yeah.
People still come up to us today and say, hey, I first started listening to you during the 2020 general election.
Yeah.
And I think the statistics also bear themselves out, right?
Yeah, I think it was the most listens for any week that we've ever had because this was during the hustings period.
Yeah.
The 8 days of hustings period where we said, you know what, let's just do an episode every day. So we recorded at 10 a.m. every day, got it out by the afternoon, just summarizing the happenings from the day before.
Correct.
And that was when we kind of like blew up. And we're like, oh shit, there's something there.
And so, like a lot of, unlike some parties out there, we've been around for the last 5 years.
That's true.
We don't only come and disappear during general election period,
that's
right?
True,
We've still been around 600 plus episodes in.
Yeah.
And we got more plans for this GE as well, right?
Yeah,
because it's something that we've constantly been talking about the last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And we don't shy away from hard topics, politics, and we don't just do like lifestyle stuff. So GE is going to be big for us, but what are we planning to do? In that case?
Yeah, because I mean, we as a baseline, we will be doing that one episode a day, definitely. So if there's one place that you want to listen to get a general feel of what's happening, we promise we will do that.
Yeah.
But the previous time we did it from our homes, now we're going to do something different.
Yeah.
We're going to do something that probably has never been done in Singapore. Not just for an election-related podcast, but generally for podcasting.
Are you building a studio or newsroom? Because there's like 2022 called and they want the idea back.
No, we are not. I mean, we are building something. We are going to be somewhere. And it's going to be super exciting. We still can't reveal too much details yet. But at this point, right, because it is going to be something that we hope will be really epic, we actually want to do a call out for any brand or company out there that might want to, partner with us and sponsor a part of it or all of it or something, because it is going to require resources and we are working our best on it. But if you have a brand or a company that, just want to be part of something epic, something that we are pretty sure will be remembered because it's going to be memorable as fuck, drop us a note at contact@ministryoffunny.com. Drop us a note at ministryoffunny.com. What else can we say about this idea?
I mean, right now, if you listen to our podcast now, you'll see that we're starting to really get the guests on, right? Yeah. Political guests and all. And it will be all the way till the election, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, make sure to, if you're new here, especially like, share, follow, subscribe to all our feeds, because we'll be doing stuff on Facebook, we'll be doing stuff on on YouTube and Spotify. And our Facebook also, it's a new Facebook, right? Yalabat Facebook, we're finally on Facebook.
Yeah.
We've basically taken what our Ministry of Funny brand is, and we've now made it Yalabat, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we spend most of our time doing these days.
Yeah. And
so you can find us there.
Yeah. So it is, we'll put the link in the show notes. And it's, I mean, in some way, the reason why also because our approach to Ministry of Funny is very similar to our approach to Yalabat.
Yeah.
So you like Ministry of Funny, you probably like Yalabat. But yeah, with regards to this idea, I mean, we will be able to reveal what exactly we're doing during the elections in a few weeks' time. But it'll be on the ground. It'll be exciting. It'll be epic. So if you want to work with us on this in any way, please do drop us a note, because we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for partners. We're just looking for cool people to make this shit happen.
Yeah. And we're anticipating a lot more listens and a lot more views.
Yeah.
As well. So anyone who works with us, you'll be guaranteed that there'll be a lot of listens.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Cool.
Awesome. So, on that note, we do have a first topic.
Yes.
And it is from a walkabout from said weekend. And it is about a particular clip that went viral for, I guess, the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It was a clip taken by someone who happened to be at the hawker center at Marine Terrace. And he took a video of Edwin Tong, Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, doing his walkabout and going to a table, and a table with like a few elderly gentlemen, one of whom was shown to kind of lift up his right hand, and with the help of his left hand holding down some fingers, seemed to be showing a middle finger, which he raised up above his head, while Edwin Tong was on his left. So he raised up his right hand, Edwin Tong was on his left. And I think when this user uploaded it on Facebook, some of the other alternative news sites took it and they kind of like spun it that this guy's showing a middle finger to Edwin Tong. I mean, Edwin Tong has since come out to clarify. The user who recorded the video came out to clarify. The person who was next to Edwin Tong, who in the video seems to be pointing towards the person taking the video and kind of saying, hey, that like highlighting that to Edwin Tong, has come out to clarify. But I mean, the first topic of the elections that we're talking about is about a middle finger. Why, Terrence?
Well, it's pretty funny, right? Like, I don't know, how do you first chance upon this video? Like, where do you first see it?
I mean, on some news platforms, and I saw some people commenting about it on Facebook, and then I was like, oh shit, I guess this is this is taking the news lah. Because over the past weekend, there were a lot of parties that, started, chopping signing grounds, releasing it for other parties to go and fight. And then for the PAP, this was the biggest news lah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw the video, I think on Wake Up Singapore and all that.
Yeah.
And immediately it was quite funny.
Yeah.
Because the amount of effort it took that old man to raise his hand, supposedly to show middle finger, is pretty epic, right? He's like in his wheelchair, but he's still like summoning all his strength just to raise his hand up and show a third finger, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, allegedly. It fit into that narrative that people were not very welcoming of the PAP team under Edwin Tong when he was going around saying hello to them. And I think there were other snippets in the video as well which showed Edwin Tong talking to a family that was eating, right?
Yeah.
And I think the guy was very busy like mixing his sauce or something. He wasn't even looking at Edwin Tong.
Yeah.
And then cut away to Edwin Tong just walking away or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And also, there was also the shot of another PAP volunteer who, like you said, was pointing out the camera, and people pounced on how, don't know any other word to say, how Kwai Lan his face looked like, right? Meaning like he looked really unfriendly and almost aggressive. Not say aggressive, but he seemed to be pointing at the person shooting the video in a very watch out for that person kind of feeling, right?
Yeah.
And so overall, the sentiment coming out from the video was like quite negative, right?
Yeah.
That was the sentiment from watching that on the alternative news media sites. But then after that, after everyone came out with their different explanations or what, how did you see anything differently? Do you see it differently?
Now, incidentally, on the person who uploaded the video, I think the video is no longer on his page.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's taken down. And what I did recall, your question was what? Did I see what?
Did your perception of the video change after you read all the different explanations from the person who uploaded the video, from the person who was pointing the video and everything?
So for context, the person who uploaded it, his name is Kent Lau. It's public. So he did say that he interacted briefly with Edwin Tong. He did say that, to be honest, and I quote, "I found the entourage a bit overwhelming, and I do believe there are warmer, more authentic ways to connect with neighborhood kopitiam folks. P.S. It may have looked like a finger gesture you're familiar with, but it was not. The mood at that uncle and ape table was entirely cordial. It's disappointing that some people may have taken my video out of context and twisted the truth." So then Delane Lim, who is the person who was the person next to Edwin Tong pointing at the camera.
Yeah, but before that, how do you pronounce it? Delaney? Or what?
I think it's Delane.
Delane.
Yeah, I think it's Delane.
Delane. Yeah, I'm not very sure also, actually.
Yeah, incidentally, this person was also in the news previously for different reasons.
Yep.
Are you aware? Years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so before we get to that, he posted that, it was him in the video. He's been volunteering with Edwin Tong for a few months, repeatedly shown himself to be a man of honor, humility, and deep commitment to residents. And then kind of debunked that it was taken out of context. And that it's sad that people are just wanting to misinterpret this and mislead. And then he shared a screenshot of Kent Lau's post.
Yeah.
And then Edwin Tong himself clarified, because he was asked about this in a walkabout on 23rd March, which was Sunday. The video was taken by some sites and used out of context in a way which cast me in a negative light. I think obviously to push an agenda quite clearly for a political objective. So, and then he said, told his team, let's not get distracted by these things. So after looking at all that, the one thing that stood out was that he himself did say that one of his teammates told him that there was a difficult table, right? And that to which he responded, still must go because they are residents after all. Yeah. So sounds like even Edwin Tong said something along the lines of that table maybe being a bit not the most cordial.
Yep.
So when he said that, then I was thinking, oh shit, could there be truth to the middle finger? Yeah.
Correct.
So that was, that's all there is publicly.
Yeah.
But what do you make of the whole thing?
The part I guess I was a little bit confused by is the video that was put out there. the way the whole thing was angled and the stuff that, at least the video that was put on Wake Up Singapore, which I saw, right, primarily, the slow motion parts that they put in the video, which I assume was the original uploader himself, the parts that he slow-moed were exactly the parts that got people's attention, right?
Yeah.
The raising of the middle finger, the pointing by the other PAP volunteer and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious why he would choose to slow-mo those parts if the intention is purely to show a very cordial meetup between Edwin Tong and his people, right? Because all the parts he slow-moed like kind of contradict that whole cordial atmosphere he's talking about.
So you're saying like one would slow down a particular part of a video to draw emphasis to it.
Exactly, yeah. Because even the opening shot it looks like he's traveling on a skate scooter or something like that, like where he pans along. And then but he focuses on the part which I mentioned earlier where Edwin Tong was like trying to talk to a resident who was more interested in his noodle sauce, right? Talking to him. And then subsequently the slow-mo parts were on the parts that, the raising of the middle finger and the what do you call it? The slightly unfriendly gesture from the PAP volunteer.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, like why were those parts slow motion captured or at least like edited to be as such? If the meeting was just to show, hey, look, Edwin Tong's in our town.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah. Is it funny? Was it funny?
I mean, I don't know. So whichever way I look at it, I don't think it was I don't think he was trying to point. You know how sometimes when people saying, there was one topic here and they will just immediately just accidentally show it, right? Yeah. This doesn't feel like it. This did feel like he was showing the finger. So I don't know whether there was a friend he saw in the distance where he had to show, hey bro, come here, bro. Yeah. So on one hand, if you put down your silver tinfoil hat and go down the path, you can imagine that it's plausible that this person, uploaded it, saw that it was a middle finger, wanted to draw attention to it, but after this whole thing picked up so much steam, and when you're kind of posting a video about someone from the ruling party, there might be pressure on you to retract it or redact your info. And to clarify that, oh no, that was actually cordial.
Yeah.
But Delane Lim himself said that, was Minister Tong was quietly briefed by a volunteer that a particular table that seemed unfriendly. The question was, should we still go over?
Yeah.
So evidence seems to point that it was a middle finger.
Correct.
An intentional middle finger.
Or no, but he said it's another table that was potentially unfriendly. So not the middle finger table, but another table.
I don't know. You got it from another table? I thought that was the table that he went over to.
I thought it was a different angle. I thought it was a different table.
Because, I read what Delane Lim posted.
Yeah.
I just take a portion. The video that's been circulating today, Edwin and his volunteers, including myself at this morning's walkabout, ? It was taken out of context to paint a picture of Edwin being unwelcome. Here's how it went down. Minister Tong was quietly briefed by a volunteer that a particular table that seemed unfriendly. The question was, should we still go over? His response was simple and powerful. They are our residents, regardless. We must engage them and hear their concerns. And he did. He sat down and engaged them sincerely. They discussed issues like the cost of living and even their kopi at the core of Singaporeans' concerns for the upcoming GE. He may not have answers and blah, 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 blah. So to me, that is the table in question. For you, this
the
is
middle finger table.
Yeah.
But wasn't Delane Lim pointing at another table while Edwin Tong was at the middle finger table? Right?
Yeah.
He was pointing at another table. And that table he was pointing out to be the slightly unfriendlier one.
Oh, but I thought that's what he addressed at the later part of his post. As for the slow motion snippet of me whispering to the minister and pointing towards the camera, all we discussed was, hey, there's a table of residents we haven't greeted yet, and Edwin replied with that, yes, let's go. So to me, there's two different things.
I see. Okay. But it could still have been another table. It didn't say that this unfriendly one was necessarily the middle finger table, right?
Yeah, correct.
So we're sort of piecing
the dots. This is the investigative journalism that you get on this podcast.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's worth examining because if everyone's reporting on it and even the minister has to make a statement about it, it means that we have to examine what Delane Lim and all also have to say about it.
Yeah.
Which is true. He's pointing out that table residents we haven't greeted yet. And he said, yes, let's go.
So that was in his defense as being accused of pointing at the person taking the video.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then, the Ken Lau, the original uploader, said he found the entourage overwhelming as well.
Correct, yeah.
So it feels like it wasn't the most pleasant experience interacting with the entourage. The table themselves didn't feel like they were in the best of mood. And now all this just feels like it's covering up something.
Yeah. But I mean, Delane Lim also pointed out that Edwin Tong, he knows that he even with the less welcoming residents, he also has to engage with them. And that's real leadership, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, you can't need to engage with them. I wouldn't say that's real leadership.
Yeah.
It might just be a KPI.
To me, it's like you work at a cafe, the customer is rude also. It's not like you can choose not to serve them, right?
And you wouldn't go up to someone serving unruly customers saying you are a leader. You are a leader for doing that. Maybe it's because if you are the server in a restaurant, you can't really push people away. But as an MP walking around, you can decide to not go to that table.
Correct.
But Edwin Tong is a leader,
Yeah. But I mean, you were saying a lot of people also dug up a lot about Delane Lim's history as well, right?
Yeah, so I think 5 years ago, on August 30th, 2020, he actually caused a big debate when he described his experience interviewing 7 job applicants who, in his eyes, are not hungry for jobs. And I think that was, he gave a breakdown on like what he didn't like about these applicants and a bit condescending. So yeah. But it was polarizing because a lot of people agreed with that Singaporeans are not hungry enough. But also some people criticize him as being pro-foreigner.
Yeah.
But hard to say that casts a lot of aspersions on his character. I can see some people really feeling that way.
Yeah.
And it's their opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were other episodes also that people brought up with regards to how he treats employees in the workplace. But again, like you mentioned, it could be, I mean, between employer-employee relationships, right? Those are very hard for outside people to judge, right? Because you don't know how the dynamic is and all.
And plus, 5 years is a long time, man.
It's a long time, yeah.
5 years, we were at episode 1 of Yalabat.
Correct. Right. But people were pointing out that why is it that it seems like a lot of people who seem to have, skeletons in their closet with regards to how they behave in the workplace and things like that. Why is it that these people seem to be, around the upper echelons of power in our government, right? Hanging around, not necessarily having official role, but they seem to be surrounding all these rubbing shoulders with all these politicians. And people harken back to is it Ivan Lim? Ivan Lim, is it? Yeah. Ivan Lim when he was...
Ivan Lim, was it?
Yeah, he was almost ran with Tharman in the Jurong GRC, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of stories about him came forward such that he even had to step down and there was supposedly an investigation and all that. And then people online were stating, why is it there's this tendency for people with questionable, history in terms of how they behaved with their employees and things like that. Why are they all able to get to those echelons of power within the grassroots and all that? Well, what do you think of that question?
I think that's unfortunately the human nature. I mean, in some sense, I think we all know certain people who maybe they're not likable as people, but they're very good at playing the game, or sucking up and pushing the right buttons of the people who make decisions.
Yeah.
They can be friends, they can be family, they can be colleagues. Everyone knows. I mean, hopefully you are not that person, right? But they're just people who play the game. And I think that was one question that I always wonder, that's why I think we've spoken before, the best way to find potential leaders of the country is put them all on an island for 30 days, create a reality TV show, and see every moment how they react to different situations, because you can really tell someone's character. But you play the game. I mean, we've seen it ourselves where during the whole liquidation process of the company, we saw people we interacted with who failed upwards. They were leading the company that burnt to the ground, and then they get instated as a CEO of some other company because of their C-suite experience, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. So unfortunately, do you see it any other way?
I mean, I think there's a very big networking element in all this like grassroots volunteering thing.
Yeah.
Of course, there are people who are really out there out of the goodness of their hearts and all, like wanting to contribute to the community. But I think I've met enough people as well where, you know, there's a thirst for what do you call it? Power. And it's not the power for themselves, but it's just wanting to be close to the seat of power.
Yeah.
Wanting to be close to the throne, have the ear of the king and everything, right?
Yeah.
Not that our ministers or anything are kings, but there are just some people who, you know,
decision makers.
They feel empowered the fact that they walk around with a minister or MP and things like that.
I mean, maybe Delane will be at the Lady Gaga concert. Right.
Yeah, you get front row seats.
Front row seats, man. Because I mean, like, there is an element, I'm not saying him, but you can imagine how someone might be drunken with the privilege to, you know, whisper into a minister's ear.
Yeah.
That, hey, you know, I'm looking out for you, someone over there, blah, blah. Of course, he refutes that from happening, but I totally agree that there's an element of like status and power that gets conferred on people who can hobnob with the ministers.
Correct, yeah.
And if you look at the video, the entourage is pretty big.
That's right.
I mean, if I was having my kopi in a coffee shop and all, then this huge entourage comes, I'll also be like, is this really the best way?
Yeah, I know. Because some people say that if like, especially people with their families and all that kind of thing, do you want to be disrupted like in the middle of your dinner and all?
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Would you want?
No.
Would you appreciate being disrupted on a Sunday?
Hell no. Because I mean, these kind of things also, you know that if a minister comes to your table, can you really be like, hey, you know what, I disagree with this.
Yeah.
You're having lunch with your family, you're probably like, oh yeah, you know, thanks for taking the time. And it's just almost for show. And I guess it is a norm for ministers and doing walkabouts to have a mic, because he also has a mic attached.
Okay.
Yeah, so
social media content probably.
Social media content, maybe you capture a good conversation, you can milk it on social media.
Yeah.
But I also forgot that PAP colours when you're doing walkabouts is white and blue.
Is it all
a
of
new
them?
thing?
No, I guess maybe they have different colours for different.
Oh, maybe Marine Parade is the water.
Maybe, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I mean, I did see it as like, okay I think it is a big entourage and all, but if this is what we think it is, which is hustings period, I mean, elections are coming, right?
Yeah.
They have to just be firing on all cylinders. They can't wait for people to finish their meals and all that. So I think breakfast, they're going to, you know, you go to any hawker center on weekend breakfast, you're going to see people there.
But have you seen anyone in recent times? When
I haven't been to a hawker center this weekend, right?
But I'm sure
in
past few weeks, no?
Past few weeks?
Or like walkabouts in general. I don't think
much.
I've ever been at a hawker center where a walkabout was happening. Unless they tend to happen on weekdays. No, right?
No, mainly weekends. I think I've seen before.
Oh, is it?
At hawker centers. But I generally try to avoid because I don't want to become a free photo opportunity for anyone running, right? You know, because I got a young kid, young family kind of thing. So I don't want to become like a photo co-opted into this photo opportunity without my explicit approval. Yeah. So I mean, I think this is just what is going to be happening for the next few weeks, and people will be looking out for moments where someone loses their cool or something, right? That'll make for really viral content.
I guess that's why the ministers are mic'd up. You know, maybe they got body cam and shit like that, like, you know, fan cam. Because I mean, like this weekend was a flurry of activity. Going down the list, I think Ng Chee Meng, you know, the Secretary General of NTUC, he visits some homes in Fernvale. Sparked rumors of a Jalan Kayu contest.
SMC,
as an SMC, right? And then some potential PAP candidate, Hamid Razak, seen at the West Coast Phu Mi Ha and Jurong's with West Coast Phu Mi Ha and Jurong's Rahayu Mazam. Then the Yao Chuan from PAP, who's going to be contesting in a Jurong Central SMC, could face Red Dot United's Emily Wu. So it's almost like USC, you know, all these SMCs and all. Then the Singapore Democratic Alliance and WP are in contact about, you know, potentially contesting in the Pasir Ris Changi JRC.
SDP also.
SDP, which is in Sembawang West SMC.
Chee Soon Juan is going to Sembawang West. He's moving from Bukit Batok to Sembawang West.
And then Paul Tambaya to stand in Bukit Panjang. And then, I mean, in Sembawang GRC, you see Ong Ye Kung and his GR's other MPs doing an obstacle course.
Yep.
Oh, Singapore is it's heating up, man.
Well, that's the thing, lah. Once every 5 years, suddenly everything becomes very exciting, right?
Yeah.
Every weekend, probably the reporters every weekend they're staffed on following all these parties around already, like,
Yeah.
and trying to capture like anything that happens, whether it's scuffles between PSP and PAP and all that kind of things, lah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really feels like at least we're in a stage where all the smaller parties, especially, are staking their claim, like chopping with tissue paper already,
and maybe some letting other people choke.
Yeah, letting other people choke. But I mean, the big thing is that the PAP still holding his cards close to his chest in terms of candidates, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about the alleged gerrymandering that came with the EBRC report. But now it boils down to the soldiers on the ground, right? Who are they going to field in different places, lah? And I guess there's an advantage to announcing early, but there are also advantages to holding until you see your opponents, right?
Yeah, correct.
So why do you think like Chee Soon Juan and all have been, going out there and just basically sticking their claim ready?
Chee Soon Juan, his mainstay was Bukit Batok, right? Which got redrawn because of the EBRC. And I mean, I think there is some worth saying early on that, you know what, to the people in Sembawang West, I will be contesting there and I will be your guy, lah.
Yeah.
And start focusing on that, lah.
Yeah.
Because PSP hasn't really revealed, WP hasn't really revealed.
Yeah.
Goh Meng Seng from People's Power Party said he will only fight if there's an LGBTQ candidate in Yishun. And they are not fielding, so he's going to let RDU, Red Dot United, fight there.
Yeah, correct.
Lim Tien said everybody stay away from Tanjong Pagar. So, I mean, it's interesting, lah. Like, but I hope PSP and WP also slowly start revealing who, because, I mean, a lot of these other parties are getting a lot of airtime, no? Right? You're hearing all these like People's Power Party, RDU, SDA all come out. Like what you said, lah. A year ago, you ask people to name these other parties, might be a bit hard, lah, right?
Yeah, correct.
So maybe WP and PSP also know that they have a bit more street cred, so they can be more strategic and let everyone else, kind of like fuss over things, and then they come in, lah.
Yeah.
But like, you think that's good or bad?
I think, for the bigger parties, it's worth holding back a little bit, because I think, people, they have brand recognition, right? So they don't need to be out there as early.
Yeah.
But they kind of need to know who they're running against. I think that's more important.
Yeah.
Then they can really drill down on the issues that they've been talking about in Parliament. Especially those parties with a presence in Parliament already, right? Where they've already been championing certain issues and causes. I think there's a bit more leeway for them to like really strategize based on who is running in each place.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Because I mean, for the smaller parties, what do they have to lose?
Yeah.
Right? Nothing.
Just put their name out there.
Yeah, but for the bigger parties, you never want to say you're going to be here and then you realize, oh, actually things are changing, you need to redeploy. So it's like a game of chess, lah. Maybe they want to see where PAP feels their candidates.
Yeah.
And then deploy.
So like Ng Chee Meng possibly going Jalan Kayu SMC, people, I think there was chatter that what if he takes over what Tharman's seat at Jurong GRC, lah. But if he's going to SMC, then then who's going to Jurong, right? You're still not very sure. Is it going to be a very strong anchor minister or what? Like, you're not very sure,
Yeah.
The truth is that can Jurong, Tharman can win Jurong by himself, right?
He can compete as an SMC in a GRC. He'll be like, I can do everything.
He could have won it alone. But whoever goes with him is like, doesn't matter. It could be any Tom, Dick or Harry, and more likely than not, he'll get voted in. But now it's gone. That Tharman aura is gone. So who's going to fill the shoes left there? Right?
And I mean, in the West Coast where Iswaran also was.
Yeah, Iswaran also. Yeah.
That one, he was an anchor minister there also, right?
Alongside Desmond Lee, right?
Alongside Desmond Lee,
So now, is it enough with just one minister,
So I guess that's why it's interesting to see there's a lot of flurry activity on the ground, but for those who are not on the ground, that's a different kind of flurry of activity. You can imagine, because PSP also recently had their elections for the internal CEC, right?
Yeah.
So, this thing is fascinating to watch, man. It's almost like if you don't see them in the news, you know that they are planning.
Yeah.
Planning.
Definitely got big things coming up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this next few weeks, I'm going to be exciting.
But yeah, I mean, we're speaking of very exciting lives that these politicians lead, right? There was recently a job ad put out for what people usually perceive as a less exciting kind of life, right?
Yeah.
But the pay wasn't. The pay deviates very far from people's expectations of what that job would and the kind of pay that would be commiserate with that job, right?
Yeah.
And what job was this that people were like very shocked by?
It is a job for a nun for Ling Ju Shan Buddhist Society. A permanent full-time role requiring 10 years of experience. And I mean, the job scope, overseeing and managing religious programs, teaching and conducting religious training sessions, providing mentorship and guidance, quite a extensive scope. And the monthly salary, right, was put down to be between 5 to 11K a month.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as this Asia One article says that the job ad has been pulled after 3 days, I'm looking at mycareersfuture.gov.sg and it still seems to be there.
Okay.
There are 10 applications so far.
Yeah.
It was posted on 16th March and it's closing on 30th March. So, it raised eyebrows. And some people were calling out saying, this one is just to, how you say, like you already want to hire foreigner.
Yeah.
We're just putting this ad for Wayang only. Then when no Singaporeans apply, actually I think a lot of Singaporeans would apply.
Why would no Singaporeans apply? They wouldn't, right?
Yeah, they would. But must have 10 years experience.
As a nun, yeah.
Do you see any other criticisms of it?
I mean, some people were pointing out that the job scope actually isn't even that simple, right? It includes almost like being an education department head, a teacher, and a religious counselor, and all within the same role, right?
Yeah.
So is it really that high a salary when you consider the depth of experience someone must have to fulfill those 3 roles? Maybe not, right?
But I mean, you compare to a teacher. It sounds like a school teacher. You got a lot more responsibility.
I mean, I guess we know what a teacher does much better. But this seems to be closer to a vice principal or something. Someone who oversees a lot of the
developing the religious education curricula.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you think it's fair game for them to offer this much?
But it's weird because I think the Singapore Buddhist Federation came out and said that that this particular society was not linked to the Singapore Buddhist Federation. Yeah, and they also said that the monks and nuns typically do not receive a monthly salary and instead rely on offerings by believers or receive alms. So, not say shady, but maybe it's very different from what we traditionally think of monks and nuns doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a more of a outreach to the regular public kind of role, right? That is labeled as a nun.
And I mean, the business address of the society is 217 Geylang Road. And if you go on Google Maps and all, it's nothing spectacular,
Yeah.
For a role that commands 5 to 11K, you would expect something a bit more established. But this one is just a shop house. I don't think there's any sign on the door also that it is for that society.
Yeah.
So shady, definitely shady. Definitely shady.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's you've seen, I'm sure you've seen, right? And I've seen, when I've traveled or anything also, I've seen monks or nuns, they're sometimes wearing nice clothes, as in not nice clothes per se, but nice shoes, and carrying, pretty, not say a very modest looking bag or stuff like a handbag or anything like that before. So I've seen instances where it makes you question, hey, I didn't know a monk or a nun could indulge in such material pursuits. So maybe this is actually par for the course, but we're not. But maybe we're just not aware because we're not clued in on the religious practice, right?
Yeah, and I mean there is that whole debate about, let's say you work in a non-profit and you are doing great work with a non-profit as a CEO of the non-profit.
Yeah.
can you be paid a high salary? And I mean, of course, Titi Durai from years ago was one extreme example. And he did some stupid things by getting gold tabs and flying first class and all.
Yep.
But I totally feel that if you are in a non-profit working on, say, HIV prevention or something that is about a social cause or a medical cause, you should be paid a very decent salary as CEO if you are doing great work.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that just because you're in a non-profit, you should be paid like a non-profit salary and only get like a stipend. But when it comes to religion, that one, I guess by extrapolation, shouldn't be an issue also lah. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue. But this one just seems a bit shady just because there's not much info about the organization. Like non-profits, I think your financial records need to be made public, because you get a lot of grants.
Correct. Yeah.
And you should be able to see the salary of the CEO. And if you have issues with it, you take it up with that. But this one, because on like sgbusiness.com, when I clicked on another Buddhist society, it shows that, it is a registered charitable organization. The sector administrator is MCCY. But under the Ling Chiu Shan Buddhist Society, there's nothing lah.
Yeah.
So that's where it's a bit shady, man.
But I think Job Site, which was the agency that was the recruiter for the society, that apparently they said that there was a misunderstanding lah. They did not engage, the society did not engage them to list job ads on his behalf, and so was kind of unhappy over the incident lah. So maybe this was an administrative mistake. It was meant to be like a private hire, like a, what do you call it, a headhunter.
Headhunter.
I can't imagine what a nun headhunter does every day. Like, how do they headhunt nuns and monks?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they just go to different like religious activities. And they just sit in the corner.
Observe.
They're scouts lah.
Yeah,
they're religious scouts. Religious scouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these kind of things. Like, I think anecdotally, we both know or have met people who have either been associated with or even seen firsthand ourselves these little religious groups that exist in certain parts of Singapore. Sometimes in office buildings, sometimes in like offices with no signboards or anything. And they have a little shady kind of vibe lah. That
That's right.
You can call them a cult, you can call them a religious sect, but these kind of things do happen lah.
They exist.
They exist,
Korea, you read about all those, or hear about those crazy cults and all.
And we've met someone whose mom, I think, was part of one of those cults.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So these kind of things do happen lah.
Yeah.
And I think even recently, I entered a lift and there was this one lady who just wanted to give me a piece of paper, and she said, this is the story of Christ. And that's no thanks. She's like, but it's important. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Of course, they didn't say I go to church every Sunday anyway. My Catholic wife,
Correct.
But it's like a salesperson lah.
No, I probably saw that you look like you need saving lah, Harish. That's why they came to you.
Touche, man. Touche. I was expecting, but not bad lah, Darren. It's not bad. I was wondering what kind of shit you're going to come up with.
Because I was one of those people before.
Oh, so you know how to pray?
I know. Yeah. You look for
my
the
disheveled
signs,
hair and all.
The guy the ones who are usually ostracized from the rest of the cool group,
walking alone in the corridor,
running alone while all the good-looking people run past him. That kind. That person needs.
So she was being compassionate lah. She was extending an olive branch. Yeah. But no thanks.
I had similar experiences even while traveling in Korea. Like I would just be driving around, then we park somewhere to have like breakfast by the beach or something like that, and just random uncles or aunties walk up to us, very well dressed, seem very friendly, all that, walk up to us and offer us to follow them to their church or whatever for the Sunday. And it's just like, I just tell them I can't speak Korean, then they walk away lah. But I can imagine how aggressive it must be to like every Sunday you're just trying to have time with your family or what, and then you just keep getting approached by these people.
What you said is exactly what you said in the first story.
Which was what?
You're having a meal on Sunday and you get approached by these sort of people. Except it's a totally different group.
Different setting. Yeah. You're just trying to have your meal on a Sunday.
And you literally inferred that at one point, like there is a certain power that comes when you rub shoulders with gods. Being the Singapore. We did not plan this, guys. We did not plan this.
Yeah.
This is the universe kind of pointing out some similarities, which was eerily similar because you literally said the same fucking sentence.
Correct. It's
on
right.
Sunday
It's true.
when I'm having something with my family and I'm approached by these people. I'm like, oh shit, that's deja vu, man. But a lot of similarities.
Similarities.
You know, white is a big part of, all both kind of groups.
Yeah.
Right? There's a certain aura of supremacy.
Yeah.
And moral authority. Whew, that was chill. That gives me the chills, no?
Yeah, the chills.
The chills.
The universe works in mysterious ways, right?
What the
Two
hell?
completely seems like separate stories.
But you found a link,
a common
man.
thread.
You found a link.
Yeah.
But yeah lah. I mean, so the ad's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Though it is still on the mycareersfuture.gov.sg website. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah. Hopefully, we'll see if there are more ads like this pop up now.
Yeah, man. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the one Shiok comment,
Do you have yours?
yes.
Okay. I mean, I have mine. I can't really reveal the person. But I think my previous revelation on a previous episode where I talked about being a skipping, sort of skipping champion, second runner up 2 years in a row in Catholic high primary school and all that.
Yeah.
Triggered some shock in some people, right? I think on Reddit some people commented about it. But also got a message from a listener also who said, asked a couple of questions about the fact that I skip and
even when I told my wife that, right, her mind was blown.
Blown. Okay. Yeah, they asked and after a few questions towards the end, they said, thanks for indulging me. You're in my super cool book now. Just being from my skipping history. Yeah.
Which means previously you were not in the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I took it as such. I understood the comment, because probably indoctrinated by you, right?
Hey, please. I did not participate in that chat at all.
And all that kind of stuff.
I intentionally stayed out because I knew you would hold it against me. I was watching it. I was like, wow, Terrence.
Yeah.
Don't try and implicate me, man.
No, but yeah. So I mean, skipping is cool.
Yeah.
I think now it's cool, but last time it was really not cool.
Yeah,
and that's the thing people forget. You look at skipping now, you watch Lauren jumps and everyone's like, wow, it's so fun, it's so cool.
Last time it wasn't.
Last time it was the fat kids, it was the unhealthy people who were doing skipping. And you did it only because you were forced to. There was nothing cool about it. And it was almost half embarrassing to be being good at skipping was almost embarrassing, because it showed that you didn't have the coordination to play other sports and all that. And that's what people forget, that the context of the time matters.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I don't know, maybe they have CCAs in school that are dedicated to skipping.
And also, plus, there's this whole social media element to it.
Social media,
right. Skipping to music.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Back then, there's nothing cool about it. So I'm quite fascinated that people wow, amazing all that. But actually, it was really nothing. Maybe I even blocked it off in my memory for a long time already.
But you think if someone hands you a skipping rope now, the muscle memory all will kick in or not?
Some. So I think the person also mentioned that there are certain moves, coordination things, and I realized, I can do that without even thinking much. They call it double unders. I didn't even know they call it. There's a CrossFit thing to swing the rope beneath you twice in one jump. Double unders, triple unders. That was normal.
Par for the course.
Yeah, par for the course. That's just regular practice, that kind of thing.
So
I didn't realize that, some people is still hand-eye coordination for some people.
I guess maybe CrossFit also made it a bit more current.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, CrossFit people probably look really good skipping. But back when I was doing it, it was trim and fit club, a tough club. It was did not look cool at all.
Also because last time the skipping rope itself was not that cool.
But it's the PVC one, the one that whips.
The one, but how got metal and it's black and slick and weighted skipping ropes.
You can design yourself and all
that. I can design. But not bad. At least you're in one more super cool book.
One more super cool.
One more super cool book.
Thanks, Harish, for making me
I never say anything.
Cool.
I never say. In fact, I expedited that process, Terrence.
By what?
Maybe you would have been further away from the super cool book if you were not doing this podcast with me.
Oh, is it? Now even taking all the credit for
I was the interim step. I dragged you along, and then now you've made it to the. This is what I do, Terrence.
No.
This is what I do for you.
Don't just because you talk all the time does not make you interesting to listen to.
Fuck off, lah. Okay, don't talk all the time. Don't paint this idea in people's minds. Also, there are a lot of new listeners coming in.
I can't even get a word. There's a word. It's called overbearing. You see. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Monologues.
Nonsense. Are you done, Terence?
Huh?
You done?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you done? Okay.
Just pointing out. See, when I say my point already, straight away, change topic.
Because your one show comment has been like 5 minutes already.
Yeah, there's a conversation. It's called conversation, Harish. There are no hard and fast rules to it. Right.
All right. Okay, cool.
Okay, sure. Cool. So your one show comment then.
Oh, thanks, Terence. My one show comment is on the Reddit episode for 632, the Dr. Janil Putucherry, and it was from Anomic Tardis. So, I mean, they did point out that, they were not sure about this episode, especially this period. But they did say I was getting really excited this period to be listening to Yalabat, eagerly awaiting to see what Yalabat had lined up. And this sponsored post with a politician felt like a letdown. Perhaps I'm also a little impatient because 3 episodes a week still feels like a long wait this period as we move towards GE. Have been resorting to tuning into other podcasts that have been doing GE materials to fill the gap. I second Acrobatic Bridge 3669, another commenter. Why not start with Dr. Chi Soon Juan and such guests? Okay, just an impatient Yalabat listener here getting all excited is GE. I think that in some way is quite heartening to know that they are, waiting for us to put out more episodes. All we can say is that, we have already interviewed some people. We are lining up as much as we can to interview as many politicians from every party as possible. So that is all in the works. And I mean, one thing they mentioned, the one with Dr. Janil was a sponsored post. And just to clarify to anyone that if you don't ever see any mention of a sponsor or preamble saying this was brought to you in partnership with Huinu, you can assume that it is not sponsored.
Yeah.
Because I think with all these politicians coming on, we have heard that, sometimes there are sponsorships that power that, but we want to make sure that if, especially in the run-up to the general election, if we are bringing on someone, if it's sponsored, we will say.
Yeah.
If we don't say, it means it's not sponsored. Because we also want to be as objective as possible.
Yeah.
So like for this Dr. Janil one, it was something we discussed with them a while ago, but because it's not elections related.
Yeah.
So that was my one show comment, and there's a lot of things coming up.
Yeah. And just one reminder to everyone also is that it takes two hands to clap, right?
Yes.
Just because we want to talk to somebody doesn't necessarily mean that it is in their interest to immediately come on our podcast and talk to us. Right?
Correct, yeah.
Although we try to always, make sure we're welcoming and we will talk about things that they want to talk about. But there's also things that we want to cover as well.
Yeah.
That we do at least tell them sort of in advance, hey, just let you know we do want to talk about these issues, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a bit of back and forth about these things, so it doesn't immediately just happen when we want them to come on.
Yeah, correct. All we can guarantee you is that we're reaching out to everyone to come on, and hopefully we can bring a diverse range.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and what about your one Shiok thing?
Actually, my one Shiok thing is, unfortunately, it happened this past weekend, so you probably have to wait a year for it to happen. But the good news is that it does happen every year. Because this institution is called the Singapore Tyler Print Institute. It has been in Singapore since 2002. And have you heard of it before?
No.
Singapore Tyler Print Institute.
No.
So if you go walk along Robertson Quay, around near where there's that really colourful bridge, that very colourful bridge along Robertson Quay.
Yeah.
And the little children's playground there. There's a building called STPI. It's the Singapore Tyler Print Institute. And it's actually a creative workshop and gallery that it's an art gallery also that is a not-for-profit that commits to promoting artistic experimentation in the mediums of print and paper. And it's now known as one of the most cutting-edge destinations for contemporary art in Asia. So they had an open house over the weekend. Granted, I've passed by that place dozens, if not more, dozens of times. Never knew what it was about. But finally, they had an open house. I went to check it out. And it's actually amazing. It's like a place that's dedicated to artists to experiment with paper and print mediums. Meaning like stuff like, silk screen printing, other things like even making paper. Like you can actually make paper with pulp and everything. They have all the machines in there. So, and it's a big like 2-story venue. And this open house had multiple stations for kids and, adults also to try out all the different things, whether it's stencils, using stencils for silk screen printing or making badges, and, different things like that. So The crazy thing is that I still, even after doing a bunch of those activities, I was still like, what the hell is this STPI about? Like why does it exist and all? Then I spoke to someone, a volunteer who was there, helping to manage the crowd and all. And then it turns out that in 2002, there was a very influential master print artist by the name of Ken Tyler, who actually was looking to retire and just basically dump all his equipment, all his machines, huge machines, presses and print presses that he had and things like that. He was looking to dump them. And I think he was based in Chicago or something. And there was a bit of a arms race between Singapore and Australia to get him and all his equipment to an institute in either country. So Singapore apparently won that race. And we got him to, I think he sold or he donated all his machinery to Singapore to be housed in this 2-story institute that really was about experimentation of print and paper. And in terms of contemporary art, he's quite up there because according to the volunteer, she said that, even Andy Warhol and some of these artists have worked with these actual machines itself. So I was like, oh shit, I did not even know there was this thing. And so they said, yeah, all the machines you're seeing here were machines that he used to create his art, that he used to collaborate with, other contemporary artists to create their art. And most of us probably not familiar with his art or his name or what, but we know Andy Warhol, we know all these.
What's his name again?
Ken Tyler. So that's why it's called the Singapore Tyler Print Institute. And you walk in there and you're like, why would anybody buy these giant machines just to do this little one piece of art with this limestone and everything and using chemical techniques? It seems like such a esoteric thing to be engaged in. But then I understood, because it was from the collection of a renowned artist in the US who basically came and helped to set up this institute.
So you went in and you could just use it like that?
No, there were master printmakers who were there to guide.
As in but you can go and but you have to pay lah.
No, it was all free. It's an open house. It was an open house.
Oh, it's an open house. If it's not an open house, then
it's only open for artists and or
what the
and once in a while they have an art gallery, some art exhibition.
But you can't find that story about the printing all on the website, That one
exactly.
You just have to.
So I was like, how come nobody talked about this? Because
that's fucking
this
cool.
Sounds almost like Edwin Tong bringing Taylor Swift to Singapore, that level of jostling. And this was happening 20 plus years ago already, where Singapore was like, okay, let's bring the contemporary art. If we can't, we can't immediately develop the contemporary art scene here, but let's bring the expertise here and set up institutes, right? And just being in the institute for I spent almost 5-6 hours there yesterday. And it was just trying out all the different things and just having an appreciation for printmaking and paper making.
Oh, shit.
So if they have exhibitions or another open house next year or what, please, check it out.
There's a Wikipedia article. And the Kenneth E. Tyler is still alive.
Yeah, it's 90 something.
He's 94.
Yeah.
95.
Yeah.
93. What
93.
the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's been around 20 plus years, but and I passed by it all the time, but I really had no clue it was there.
So you cycled?
Yeah, pretty much. That's the story of me cycling there.
But you chanced upon it during your cycle?
No, we knew that this was happening.
Oh my God.
We planned to go with some friends and all that. But we chose to cycle there.
That's damn cool, man.
But yeah, it's a bit like one of those hidden gems, a bit like our Natural History Museum that I find is also excellent. But not many people think about the Natural History Museum when recommending tourist attractions to friends and all that.
Oh shit!
So, hopefully more people hear about this STP, thing, and attend more of the events also.
Wow, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool.
But what's your one Shiok thing?
All right, my one Shiok thing is this YouTube channel that I just chanced upon. That their first video was 9 years ago. Their most recent video was 1 year ago. They only have 6 videos. It's called To Scale. And what they call themselves is a series of short science films examining the most overlooked facet of our universe, its an astonishing scale. So what this channel does, right, is, their whole goal is that I think they're started by documentary makers who love science. And they said the one thing that they always heard people, astronauts, say when they go to space and they see Earth from a galactic perspective, it's very eye-opening because you realize it's just a little blue dot.
Yeah.
So they wanted to recreate that feeling on Earth. So, for example, right, their video to scale the solar system, what they do is they go to this random place in a desert, as in the US, and they actually try to build up the scale of the solar system on the sand.
I see.
So, like, they would drive and make tracks that is the orbit of the Earth.
Wow. Okay.
And they build it up, and then they show you that the Earth is just the size of this marble.
Yeah.
But when you stand here, you look at this scale version of the solar system. It's just a reminder of how big it is, but in a way you can actually feel. And they've done it for time, and it's a pretty damn cool concept. But they only have 6 videos.
Yeah.
But each video has gotten quite a good amount of views. They have 213 subscribers. Don't look that they're active anymore. But I thought the idea is fucking cool, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's damn cool. Time, how we built a scale model of time. So yeah, very cool idea. And I think it's only 6 videos. You can literally say you have watched every video on this channel.
Wow.
I think a lot of videos have won a bunch of awards and all.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's my one Shiok thing.
Another corner of the internet that we never knew existed. Huh?
Yeah, man. Cool.
Cool.
Awesome. So that's many more exciting episodes coming up.
Yeah. That we've already recorded, in fact.
We've already recorded.
So they'll be coming out soon.
Yeah. So remember, if you're new to the podcast or you've been listening to for a while but haven't followed us on social media, please do follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit. Leave us a rating on Spotify. And if you want to work with us,
please email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just check out ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah, and remember the GE campaign we're working on. If you want to work with us as a partner, sponsor, volunteer, whatever, just hit us up.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening, and talk to y'all soon.